Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Innovative Dialogs. I am so excited to invite my dear mentor and friend, Dr. Sari Lehrhoff, who is a psychiatrist, a therapist, and a master life coach, plus a functional medicine trained physician, to be my first guest. She combines her deep understanding of the mind with a holistic approach to wellness. Dr. Sari integrates mind, body, and spirit into her teachings, offering a whole person approach to personal transformation. She is a master life coach with 20 years, if you can believe it, of coaching experience. She empowers individuals to overcome challenges, embrace their potential, and create fulfilling lives. I know she's helped me. Through the integration of various methodologies, Dr. Lehrhoff has crafted a unique approach to life coaching. She views herself as a vessel to inspire and empower others to live their most authentic and fulfilling lives. She's also a certified relationship and sex therapist, guiding individuals and couples towards deeper connection, intimacy, and healing. She's the founder of Evolve Masterclass, a coaching forum for inspiration and empowerment where individuals meet weekly for new topics, tools, and group coaching support. She trains life coaches in the fundamentals and advanced training as well. She created the Evolve Method, a unique framework that helps clients to navigate life's challenges. And today she's here to talk with us about overcoming self-sabotage, something that is near and dear to my heart because I do it all the time. So let's get started. Dr. Sari, let's start on the human side. What does self-sabotage look like for you personally? Can you share a time when you caught yourself in it?
Absolutely. And thank you for that beautiful introduction. It's so great to be here. I think for me, self-sabotage can look like, let me organize my Google Drive or delete old emails or clean the pantry before I write that important thing. So it's funny, I am not a big cleaner, I've noticed, until I have something very important to do. Now, we know that a cleaner environment can actually lead to better productivity, which is great. But it also can lead me to that self-sabotage time crunch. And at times that's not always so helpful. So I can really relate to everybody who struggles with self-sabotage. There's so many moments in my life that I can even think back to where, I had one instance, I had the content ready to go, right? Everything was there, it was ready for me to press the publish button. And I caught myself, I suddenly became very obsessed with reworking the cover page. I mean, I'm talking 3 days where I just felt like it had to be different or improved, or the colors or the font. And it was sabotage disguised as productivity. And I think a lot of us can relate to that, where we think we're doing something that's going to be really, really beneficial, but it's keeping us stuck. For me, that was about being afraid of success. I've done the work, I can look at it. So I'm going to invite everybody to think about where they might be getting a little stuck behind the scenes. It was about being afraid of stepping into something bigger, and then looking at those very, very old fears of being good enough or not being good enough. And so that part, well, you'll hear me talk a lot about parts when it comes to self-sabotage, but I have a part that likes to self-sabotage, and it uses things like it's not good enough yet to keep me in that productivity, but really self-sabotage. And there's I don't know if you've ever heard of Stephen Pressfield, but he calls resistance in the war of art. And basically he's referring to this invisible force that kicks up every time we're about to cross over a threshold, if you will, of growth, of evolving. And for me, what I've come to learn is that if resistance is showing up for me, It's actually telling me that I'm close to something that matters to me, that's important to me. So once I have that knowing, and I find myself in that like fake busyness or stalling, then I know it's time to pause and look inside. Because while that younger protector wants me to go to shame, which so many of my clients start going there, and we have to kind of catch that, bring them back. Instead, I invite everybody to get curious, and myself included, and ask, what am I protecting myself from right now?
Fantastic. Why do you think so many of us feel like we're getting in our own way, even when we want something deeply?
Such a great question. So I think because wanting something doesn't erase the parts of us that are terrified to receive it, right? Two things can be true. We could want it, and then we can be afraid of it. And so a lot of us think I something's wrong with me. I'm the messed up person, or I'm broken in some way, shape, or form. But we're not, right? And I've worked with enough clients to be able to say it's not that, it's not that we're not motivated. But for all the people that I've worked with, myself included, it's not about not wanting the thing, right? It's about you just have these two competing truths inside of you. We've got the part that's just longing to grow, and the part that's doing everything it can to protect us from that perceived risk of that growth, if that makes sense. And I'll just share this, but for a lot of the therapy I do is internal family systems parts work. So when this happens, we've got two competing parts. We call it polarization, where one part wants to move forward and another part is slamming the brakes. Think about it like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. And it's not like we're thinking about this rationally. It's a protective mechanism. Each part thinks it's doing what's best for us based on the past experiences that we've had. And I'll never forget one of our Evolve Masterclass members who came in totally stuck. She kept saying, I know what I want, but I keep sabotaging it. So we helped her identify the younger part of her that believed success would lead to, feeling isolated, not having the same kind of connections to the world, the other world that she was in before this potential success, that she'd have to outgrow people she loved, right? This was the fear. But once we gave her the tool of naming and taming it and really identifying those parts, she was able to build this dialogue, a healthier dialogue with her inner protector so she could start moving forward. And it was great. She was leading with compassion, so her whole nervous system could exhale. That's the
That's
shift.
fantastic. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, how do you define self sabotage, not just intellectually, but emotionally or spiritually, or is it individual?
Beautiful question as well. So, at its core, self sabotage is when the part of you that's trying to protect you actually ends up limiting you. It's acting against our own goals. It's procrastinating on the thing we care most about, right? Think about it, picking a fight right when things are going well, or abandoning something right before it succeeds. But of course, we know emotionally and spiritually, it goes deeper. It's the inner conflict between our desire to expand and our need to stay safe. Now, emotionally, self sabotage is often a trauma response. The nervous system might be saying, hey, last time we did something like this, we got hurt. Let's not go there again. So that's the protection. Spiritually, I see self sabotage as the soul, or however you like to define it, the energy, asking for safety before it says yes to expansion. So it's like the inner child's way of saying, I want to go with you, but not until I know you'll take care of me on the way.
Wow,
It's just that kind of a lens, right?
it's so powerful.
Yeah.
For me, self-sabotage occurs right when people start telling me how great I'm doing. And I just want to hold up a barrier and make them stop. Stop praising me because that's going to crash everything I'm doing every time. So when someone realizes that they're caught in self-sabotage, and I know when I'm there, what's a gentle first step or tool that you recommend to help us get out of it?
That's a great question. And I think the pause is always where I'm going to recommend people starting because we move so fast sometimes that we go right to throwing in the towel. If we're, for instance, in the example that you just gave, if I have a part that heard I'm doing really well and it's scared that I can't match that in the future, it's going to try to stop me in my tracks. It's going to press the brakes, like we talked about earlier. So, what we could do is just pause and notice without judgment. Just the act of saying, oh, wow, this could be one of my protector parts showing up, it's pretty big. Awareness gives us choice. You can you can shift when you're aware, but if you're not aware and you're in criticism of self mode, that's when we kind of get stuck in that pothole. So another tool would be to name and nurture. Name the part, give your inner saboteur a playful or compassionate name. Overwhelmed Olivia is one of mine, right?
Mhm.
Safety Sam. This creates just enough space between you and the pattern. Number two would be ask what it's protecting. So this is where we get curious. What is this part afraid would happen if I actually move forward? And a lot of us find gold here because that's where the old fears maybe are hanging out, or the unmet needs, maybe beautiful intentions like wanting to keep us safe or unseen, because it wasn't safe to do so in the past. And then the
Sure.
third is offer reassurance, right? So you can place a hand on your heart and say something like, I hear you. I'm here to walk along this path with you, right? This version of me is older, more mature than maybe the one that got hurt when I was young. And that signals to the nervous system that we're safe and we can grow, and all of them can coexist.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Or
Um, how can someone tell the difference between self-sabotage and intuition? They can feel so similar sometimes.
it's a really, really good question. And we talk a lot about light and heavy, so for instance, if when you think of intuition, I think of calm, light, grounded. So even if it tells us to wait, it's spacious. It's the voice that says, not this, not now, and that's okay, right? You might even feel a little bit of relief. Whereas self sabotage, it's anxious or urgent, right? It's like, well, what if I mess this up?
Yeah.
Or, you're not ready, right? That inner critic. And
Mhm.
instead of peace, like intuition brings, self sabotage, it brings a little bit more tension, or we can feel like we're spiraling.
Mhm.
So here's a short way, right? Intuition is love based, sabotage is fear based. And so, where do you feel it? I might ask, this actually was for one of our members in Evolved Masterclass. I said, where do you feel this in your body? And if it's intuition, I usually hear the chest, the heart, and it's a little bit more clear, sometimes the belly. But if it's sabotage, it's like the jaw, the shoulders, the mind, and it feels more like pressure.
So it definitely has a physical effect, a physical impact.
For sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain what's really happening in our brain when we sabotage ourselves? It seems like we know better, but still don't follow through.
Yeah. Oh, such a great question and such a human experience. We do know better, but knowing isn't always enough. That's because we've got two different brain systems and they're working at the same time, right? You've got your higher planning brain. It's very thoughtful, it's visionary, future focused, if you will. And I like to think of this part of us, this part of our brain that sets goals, it makes to-do lists, it dreams big, right? Whereas the other part of our brain is our survival brain. It's very fast, protective, but it's only focused on keeping you safe in the moment. And it doesn't care about our 5-year plans, right? It's like, no, I can't look over ahead. I have to look right now. It cares about avoiding discomfort. It rather would live in overwhelm right now and rejection right now and choose the monsters we know right now because it's familiar. So it like think about what happens if you have to speak on a stage, right, or launch the thing or have a hard conversation. If it feels even slightly risky, our survival brain is going to pull the emergency brake. And that's, our nervous system reacts very, very intensely, which is why we want to plan things in advance where our survival brain can kind of come in and run the show. With preparation, you're taking yourself back into your planning brain. So we have to do this in advance though to access it, because usually in the moment, survival brain is running the ship unless we've advanced planning. So our goal is to override our survival brain, build a relationship, with it, to say to the effect, I know you're scared, but I've got us now. And that's when self-sabotage stops running the show.
I do have a question here. Is there a simple tool someone can use in the moment when they feel themselves resisting or even pulling away from something they care about because of self-sabotage?
It's another great question. And this comes back to the pause. If we think we have to rush to do the thing, say the thing, answer the question, but we can actually pause and check in. Am I safe right in this moment? Yes. Right. Is there a lion, bear chasing me?
Mhm.
No. But even better, once we do a quick check-in, and this could take microseconds, right? Am I safe? I'm safe. But I know I'm feeling a little bit up here. I want to get my breath lower into that rest, digest, parasympathetic system. So even just by taking 2 to 3 deep breaths, deep breath in and out. So let's say someone asks you a question. You can repeat the question to give yourself a minute. Take a deep breath, repeat the question, exhale. Let me think about that. Inhale, right? And you're actually getting your breaths in while you're preparing to answer the question. So now you've literally hijacked in a good way and taken it back to that rest and digest versus that fight or flight. It feels like a really long time when we pause, but it's not. It's not. We can do this. We can reset. There's some other tricks, noticing, something red in the room, yellow. We talk a lot about these grounding exercises, but if we want something quick, I think coming back to the breath every time, inhale through the nose, get the breath into the belly, and create that pause so you can regroup and then feel like you're back in control.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I was practicing while you were talking.
There you go.
So if someone listening to this new podcast feels stuck in a cycle of sabotage, what's one loving step they could take immediately today?
But start small. Start with compassion. Just once, statement, one even noticing. So I call it self-noticing, and then self-response. So what that means is, I'm here. I've got you. We can do this. And it can start with setting a timer for 5 minutes a day. And you can start with the thing that you've been avoiding, maybe. You can pause and put your hand on your heart. You can whisper encouraging words to yourself. And people are always surprised when I say this because they're looking for this big answer, but it's not necessarily very big or dramatic. I think when we see the most lasting change, both in myself and in our masterclass community, it comes from the tiny moments, right? When we're actually bringing tenderness to the self. Because our protector parts are always on guard. So they don't know without us giving them a cue that it's okay to soften. So the smallest shift, right, in that direction can create a completely different destination. But first, we need to give that self trust. We all want to be seen and heard. First, we've got to do that with ourselves.
Can you talk about the role of community in that kind of growth?
I love this question because I've just built this entire, online space of community. It's so important. We know that we can grow on our own, but it is harder. When we're doing inner work in isolation, our old stories get very loud, you know, and we're like, oh, maybe I'm the only one who struggles like this. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. But community changes that. And I see this, in our Evolve Masterclass community groups, right? And when someone shares a pattern or something they're working through, and 5 other people say, "Me too." "Oh, I have that too. This is how mine looks." That moment where everybody now feels seen, and there's no judgment there. But just that act of not feeling alone in what we're going through, it's so healing more than any tool. I don't think we're meant to evolve alone. I think we're meant to mirror safety to each other. So if you're growing, you're healing, or you're just trying to figure out who you are or remember who you are, try not to do it by yourself. Find a space where you're supported and you're it's almost like your wholeness is reflected back at you, because I think it's very hard to be in that space by yourself. So find that community. That's how what I suggest. It does help.
Wow, that's so powerful. Thank you. And it does help. It's because we do tell ourselves so many stories. So what daily practices would help rewire some of that sabotage into support?
Yeah, back to those small intentional choices that we make every day. I think that that can be big. And so one can simply be just a morning connection with your future self. I love the exercise where you journal on how would this future version of me handle today. So if she thought I was ready for whatever I'm about to do or on top of it, right? How would she handle this? How would she start the day? How would she move through the day? How would she speak, prioritize? How would she breathe through these challenges? And sometimes just connecting with that ideal or more accomplished version that we have in our head of ourselves allows us to plan our day. So that's definitely one morning connection with your future self. Another is, a name and nurture moment. So pause and just naming the parts that are coming up and getting in the way. Because when we try to push them down, they just feel louder, bigger, and they take over. But oh, there's protector Penelope. Here's tender Tara asking for reassurance. And by saying, I hear you, I'm listening, and now we can move forward together. So that could be a good one, right? Name and nurture. And then if you like rituals and not just doing a morning, you could actually do an evening acknowledgement ritual where before bed you can reflect on one moment of the whole day where you honored your growth. And it could be simple. It could be just where you made a choice that aligned with your values, maybe where you spoke kindly to yourself, or you just brought in more awareness. So acknowledging our progress, I think, is also incredibly powerful because it reinforces it. Our nervous system learns this is who I am now, and I can trust myself here.
Fantastic. Thank you. Wow. Well, we're near the end of our interview today, our little discussion. It's been phenomenal. I have so many highlights I've taken away, and I've been through your class, and I highly recommend it to everyone. It is a community. It's ongoing. It never goes away. So I'd love to share with our audience. Where can people find you? How do they connect?
Thank you. So they can come to evolvemasterclass.com. We offer memberships that include, an inspirational pantry. We've got weekly topics, worksheets, tool sheets, and a vault of bonus videos and all sorts of topics. We even have meditations there, workshops, and of course, our weekly community groups there. And if that is not enough, we're also offering our life coach training. In fact, our next one kicks off September 9th. And this year, we're doing it's the advanced training, but for the only year we're going to do this, we're giving a free fundamentals class. So basically, anyone who signs up for the advanced training class in September is going to get access to our free fundamentals class. So if they've never done life coaching before, or they want to get their feet wet, they get that full class for free, which is amazing. So that kicks off, but everything can be found at evolvemasterclass.com. They can even sign up for expert coaching there with one of our expert coaches.
Fantastic. Well, I know for me, it was truly life-changing. And whether or not individuals intend to become a life coach, I still recommend going through the program because you're going to grow so much individually. Um, so it's amazing what you've done and the community that you've built. I want to thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Just remember, right? Self-sabotage is a sign that we're close to something that matters. So notice the resistance and keep going. It just means you're in motion. Thank you so much, Miranda, for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you.